Hello, what's going on, guys?
Happy Friday.
Tough week we had this week, eh? It's Friday. Did a lot of yard work today, so I'm actually like really tired, and the sun takes a lot out of me. That's something new I'm doing, yard work. We used to have like a crew of people that just like, like the yard people come by.
Well, we had last week. They came
Last
by.
week. They came by last week. But ever since then, I'm taking matters into my own hands because you gotta take control of your own domain. That's what I'm learning.
I gotta send the case to myself. It's on my other computer.
Okay, Mega's gonna send the case to herself. If you guys are new, we got chat going. Let me know if the sound and everything's good. It should be good. This is nothing about keto. We just tell true crime stories. We eat dinner together. Usually we eat dinner together, but we've been having to do it so late because Theo, we have to wait for him to go to bed, which he's in bed now. So we don't really eat dinner anymore when we do it. But yeah, so we tell crime stories. We try solving them. You guys get active in the chat. And I was thinking we could do like a coronavirus relief fund or something if for all the super chats we get. We usually don't get that many, but we'll match the donations and we'll donate it. I looked up some charity. I don't know, unless you guys have better suggestions. I just found this one. Direct relief for coronavirus. I usually look on the charity navigator thing and this has like a good rating. So that's usually what I go by. And we're gonna get to the mini mysteries. Mega's doing the case again. I got a few mini mysteries for beforehand. And I'm looking over here because this is where I have the chat up. And so, I just reread this book right here for the second time in my life. First time I read it, I was in, I believe, 8th or 9th grade, and I thought it was like a mind-blowing, amazing book at the time I read it. And I reread it as an adult, 15, 18 years later, and I was thinking maybe, like, recently I rewatched The Italian Job. Do you remember loving The Italian Job when you were a kid? The Mark Wahlberg, or is it Mark Wahlberg? Yeah, right?
Yeah, the first time I saw it was like 6 months ago with you and my dad.
Oh, okay. So that is a movie that is amazing when you're like in middle school. When you're an adult, it's really bad, in my opinion. And I thought this book might be like that because it's definitely like a teenage rebellion type of book, but still great. Still one of my all-time favorite books. And I said we're going to match their donations and send it to a coronavirus relief fund.
I like that. That's great. Thank you, Susan, for the $2.
Yeah, so we're getting to some donations. Susan and Anadina, $20. Whoa.
Awesome. Thank you.
So if you guys have read it, just give me like a one-line, your thoughts on it. One sentence.
And if it's more than one sentence, we're not reading the second one.
And the reason I bring it up is because there's a little bit of a mini mystery surrounding the book because it became really famous. I think it originally became famous for being a great book, and then people got attached to it and shootings started happening in association with this book. And a lot of crime has been done in the name of this book, you could say, kind of. Like, people really identify with the main character. Mm-hmm. He's really like, he just kind of like hates everything. He hates the world. Everyone's phony. Everyone's a fake. Everyone's, just like he doesn't like it.
So does that hit home for you? Do you feel that way?
I don't feel that way, but I like the perspective and the writing style and stuff. It's just a cool read. So if you look here, this is just the Wikipedia for all of the Catcher in the Rye and popular culture. The Mark David Chapman's shooting of John Lennon. Chapman identified with the novel's narrator to the extent that he wanted to change his name to Holden Caulfield.
I mean, okay. He wants to change his name.
Yeah, and he was very obsessed with Holden Caulfield at the time of the murder, apparently. And then there were a few others also. John Hinckley. I didn't even know there was an assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan. Did you know that?
I know about John Hinckley, but yeah, I don't remember when association to.
1981, police found the catcher. See, that's not too strong of a correlation. They just found the book and a half a dozen other books in his hotel room. And then this person was carrying the book. Rebecca Schaefer. Who is that?
Was she in anything we know?
Patty?
No.
Russell?
Oh, My Sister Sam? No, I don't know
No.
that show.
That's pretty much it. That's a mystery.
Oh my god.
I got some other mysteries.
I was about to say.
Yeah. What do you guys think of it? Oh, donations flying off. Amber, $5.
Thank you, Amber.
You should watch The Italian Job with Michael Caine. Much better. The older one. Yeah, I've never watched that one. Love The Catcher in the Rye. Everyone's a hypocrite. Yeah. Iconic take on mental health given its time. Yeah, that's something I sort of picked up on the second time I read it. I was more so thinking about the idea of Holden being like an unreliable narrator and like you're really kind of in the head of someone with some mental stuff going on. But I was reading more about it afterwards, and actually the author, J.D. Salinger, he like relates to Holden Caulfield as like kind of his childhood. So the other, let's just do one more of these. Oh, we got this one. We got a mystery blanket that we have to identify. So this is a quilt. And it's a very weird quilt. And basically, like, what's going on with the quilt is the mystery.
So bread, peanut butter, phone, fence.
So yeah, let's go top left. We got like a piece of bread.
Yeah.
We got a phone. This looks
Water
like maybe
cup?
a cup of water, yeah. This looks like a fence.
Water on the bread.
Wa-
So you wet the bread.
You wet the bread, so maybe hot dog eating contest, are you thinking?
Maybe wet the bed.
Could be wet the bed, okay. I don't know what this one is, like a letter?
Yeah, like a postcard.
Peanut butter, that's pretty obvious. Then this looks like,
A peanut butter sandwich. Calling someone.
yeah, like, that's kind of what it looks like. And then this is like bread, peanut butter, and water.
Yeah, that's what that is.
And then this is a fence kind of going into a peanut butter sandwich, it looks like, right? Like
And the
fence
fence and the phone are calling each other through a peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah. It seems like it gets more and more detailed and more combinations down below, because these are just like the core elements at the top here.
So what's the bottom middle?
Bottom middle looks like it's kind of like a peanut butter sandwich also, right?
Huh, yeah.
And then this is like you're sending a peanut butter sandwich through the mail or something. It looks like that's a plus sign kind of.
Or a cross? Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Does anyone have ideas?
Thoughts
on the blanket? I should read The Grapes of Wrath. Okay. The next classic I'm going to read is Watership Down. Has anyone read that? I was going to have my 8th grader read this book during this time trapped inside. I remember loving it. Oh,
Do
Helen.
it.
Helen donated $3. Thanks.
Thanks, Helen. It's Blue's Clues.
Is it?
What do you mean it's Blue's Clues?
Like the show? Pretty mysterious blanket. My only thought is like, is it just someone with just like doing weird stuff for no reason? Like just putting weird stuff on a quilt?
And then posting it?
No, no one made this for us. This is just a mystery blanket found on the internet.
I wish someone made that for us. I'd be scared to death. Scroll down. What do the comments say?
On the post here?
Mm-hmm.
So the person followed up. Wait. The person followed up and gave. Okay. This one is just a random person. They say bread, water, water on bread, peanut butter and water together on bread, question mark. Phone, gate, letter, phone minus bacon? Wait, where are they getting bacon? Phone minus bacon. That's not bacon, is it? No.
No.
That's, I think,
And
peanut
then-
butter sandwich is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but what's the brown in between? Who knows?
Gate plus bacon, letter plus bacon. Here's the original poster here. That says,
Secondhand shop in Vacaville.
everything starting with P, something to do with jail, a science experiment with moldy bread.
Does everything start with P though? What's the bread one?
A story starting with blue, read from left to right, then brown. misheard song lyrics / inside jokes. Yeah, this is like...
It's just a crazy blanket. I kind of wish I owned it.
No one's really coming through with theories either.
Yeah, no one cares about the blankie.
Alright,
Okay.
we don't got much theories on the blankie. Come through with some theories, guys. I feel like this is a good mini mystery because it's just so wild.
Is it that good though?
Yeah, I like it. You should get into quilting. Have you ever thought about that?
No.
What have you thought about getting into as a hobby?
Lots of things.
Like what?
I mean, cheese making.
Cheese making?
Yeah, obviously. Obsessed with cheese. There's this cheese class actually I might take next weekend.
Well, it's going to be canceled.
No, it's online.
Oh, okay.
But
You got to like get a bunch of
they're gonna
ingredients?
send you the cheese and the pairings and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, no one cares about the blanket.
No one cares about the blanket. All right, guys. I guess some quarantine project. No, this is from a while. Oh, I guess it's only a month ago. Yeah, maybe there's some underlying meaning and like inside jokes, but it seems like it might just be someone who like wanted to make a quilt and they didn't have. No, I don't know. Because this right here, this takes some concerted effort. They wanted to make peanut butter with water droplets. That's really.
Well, just like the postcard, that doesn't even come into play ever.
Yeah. Are we sure that's a postcard? That's really the only mystery item on here?
Or maybe they're wanting to make the American flag. No.
No. Yeah. Mystery. All right.
That's it.
On to the case.
Good job, Matt. Coming
Oh,
through.
Watergate, someone says. Watergate something. Water. Yeah, there's a water and a gate. Someone says the blanket's not a good mystery.
Yeah.
Okay. On to the case.
Watergate makes sense.
Watergate?
Okay, what?
Seeing if the shadow's on your head. It's not.
Okay, guys, I have brought the case once again because someone used yard work as an excuse, or we would have had to cancel Murder She Ate again.
Well,
Back to back. Cancels.
Yeah, we have these
He wants
trees
to do
that
this.
have to be cut every year.
So we just cancel our job
No.
to cut trees.
But I was using a handsaw because I'm nervous with the power tools, just like cutting limbs off. I don't feel like it's worth the risk, so I just got a handsaw and I did this motion a lot today.
But this is our job.
I know.
We gotta pull through for people. Okay, so I have done the murder of Billy Joe Jenkins, and this took place in England, and it is a 13-year-old girl. Okay, in 1997, in a town called Hastings in England, it's a coastal town, there's a 13-year-old girl, and she lives with her foster family, including 4 foster sisters. So the other sisters were the parents' actual daughters. Does that make sense?
Yeah, she's the only
She's
outsider.
the real foster, yeah. And she lived with them since she was 9 years old. She's 13 at the time she dies. And she just so happened to have the same surname as them. So she was a Jenkins, and then she went to a Jenkins family.
So we're thinking the family might be involved.
Usually it's someone, you know, right?
Yeah.
On February 15th, 1997, the morning started out as usual for the Jenkins family until Billy Joe was found battered to death on the back patio in the garden using an 18-inch iron tent peg.
18-inch tent peg.
Yeah.
Okay. So like
And
the
like-
thing that you put together to hold the tent. I could see that.
No. You want to pull it up, what it looks like? It's like a hook.
It's a hook
Yeah.
to stake the tent into the ground? A tent
Yeah.
stake?
Yeah.
Okay, a stake.
But they call it pegs in England.
Okay.
Okay.
I camped as a child.
We can tell. So that day, Billy Joe, so on the 15th, Billy Joe was painting the patio doors in the garden, and the mom was out with 2 of the sisters, and BJ, I'll just use BJ for Billy Joe. Billy Joe was home with her dad, and one sister was out at music lessons.
So Home Alone with Dad.
Yes. So the father went out to pick up the daughter from the music lessons and decided that he was going to stop and get some paint remover to clean up the mess that BJ had made. So she's like painting, there's paint all over, and you can get like paint remover, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So he was gone for 15 minutes. And everything that we know about this, like the timing and like what happened, father going in and out, is according to the younger sister, and she was around 10 years old at the time.
She's home?
No. She was with the dad. She was the one with the music lessons.
Okay. But she gets picked up, right? From music lessons?
Wait. The mom's out with two sisters. Billy Joe was home with her dad, and one sister was out at music lessons.
So she can't really for sure say how long the dad was out then, because he could have been out for an hour.
Okay, no. So, let me get to it. So, according to the younger daughter, she was around 10 years old. When they had to go to the store, the father realized that he'd forgot his money. So they go back home, and so she's in the car with him. They go back home. He goes into the house himself. He just like runs in. He's in the house for about 3 minutes. He gets the money and comes back, and then they go to the store, and they're back within 15 minutes because the store's really close by.
You don't forget your money.
What do you mean?
As an
you
adult,
forget your money all the time.
I always check when I get in the car, is my wallet in?
I've forgotten my passport or my license and gone to the airport.
Seems like a weird, convenient occurrence for when your child gets murdered that you forgot money.
You have 4 daughters. Like, lots going on. They're all young. You just forgot your money.
I don't know if I buy it. I'm suspicious of the dad a little right now.
The things we've done as parents already, I feel like forgetting your money is the least of the problems.
Violet Sinclair, $5 donations. Thank you.
And again, guys, thank you so much for your donations. We're going to match whatever is donated and provide it to coronavirus relief.
And we do not eat anymore because it's so late. We have to do it after Theo goes to bed. It's 8 p.m. But we had lamb chops. Theo had a lamb chop.
Yeah, he did. If you check out our Instagram, you can see him.
Oh, you had a picture of it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Him gnawing on it. Okay. So once they return, so again, 15 minutes later, the youngest sister goes out to the garden and sees BJ lying on the floor covered in blood. What are you pulling up?
We're going to go to our Instagram.
Oh. Okay.
Wait, so who discovered the body?
The younger sister.
The one that was at music? Okay.
So she goes to get her father. She actually calls out to him, and he comes out rushing to her side and immediately calls 999, which is 911 in England. This is distracting.
Sorry. I wanted to get to... See, look at all this wood I chopped today. That's with a handsaw.
I know. I didn't ask you to do... I didn't put like a gun to your head, like, do this.
You got a boomerang smile?
Yeah, how cute.
That's cute.
Sorry, this is definitely like...
Wow, that's a great picture. You can't really see the lamb chop, but yeah, he's chewing on it. Okay.
Okay, so father rushes out to BJ, to her side, and calls 911. He says that BJ has injuries to her face and head, and then the paramedics rush out. The father claims that when he went to BJ's side, she was still breathing, but by the time the paramedics had got there, she died.
Okay.
So police immediately begin looking for suspects, and the body is sent off for an autopsy. And the autopsy reports say that the cause of death was a blow to the head, again that tent peg, and the manner of death was homicide. She had 9 estimated blows to the head in a sporadic random manner, all in close proximity to one another. Her skull was shattered and her nose was broken. She had defensive bruises on her right and left forearms.
And you said she's 13?
Yeah.
And do we know, or we'll probably find out, was the tent peg like part of the family's tent gear?
I don't think we actually do find out because it's not sent off to labs.
Okay. That'd be pretty crucial, I feel like.
Yeah, but it was just right at the scene, so it was left there. Okay. So she also had some older bruising, estimated to be about a week old, found around her wrists and her forearms.
Okay.
No sexual abuse, and her 9th and 10th ribs were fractured and blood was found in her lungs. So the 18-inch, I said 18, right?
Yeah.
18-inch iron tent peg wasn't hidden. It was there lying right at the scene. And the examiner stated that with the size and weight of the tent peg, not much force would have been needed to be used to cause the amount of injury to BJ.
So it was heavy then?
Yeah, it's like a metal tent peg.
Okay.
Stake, whatever. So every newspaper article... Okay, so this is just like an interesting tidbit that plays into a suspect. So, and it was noted by newspaper articles. So every newspaper article stated that there was a piece of plastic thought to be a bit of black trash can found stuffed up in BJ's nose. And this was
black trash can.
Yeah, it's like a plastic black
stuffed up in her nose.
Like, you know, our trash cans?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was found by the neighbor who was actually tending to her.
So was it like a big piece sticking out of her nose, or was it like in there?
Yeah, like a little piece of... I'm assuming. Like, I wouldn't have enough detail.
Well, it wouldn't have been from a trash can, would it?
Why?
I don't know. Why would a trash can break off and end up in her nose?
I don't know. So that'll come back. Just remember that. It's just a weird note. Okay.
$5 donation from Krista Ray.
Thank you, Krista. You got Violet?
What? Yeah, and then Violet also.
Okay. So just 9 days before... So just 9 days after BJ is murdered, the father is arrested on charge of committing BJ's murder and formally charged on March 14th. And again, the murder happened on 15th of February. His wife actually came forward claiming that he had a history of violence and domestic abuse. Recall those bruises that she had on her wrists and forearms. Mm-hmm. And in her statement, in the mom's statement, she made note of his violent temper, which is what put him to the top of the suspect list.
Yeah, because she was like painting or something, BJ?
Yeah, she was painting their shed in the back.
Oh, she was painting the shed, not like art painting, like finger paint or whatever? Oh.
She was like...
She probably just like did something wrong with the painting.
Yeah, so the temper, that's what I'm thinking. Like the mess she made. Remember she went to get paint cleaner?
Oh, yeah.
So this is just like a note I made. It was like, Matt, you always like say that it's always someone close.
Yeah, most of the time.
So she specifically said in her statement that the father regularly harmed her and the girls, including BJ. So the father was a deputy headmaster at his local secondary school and highly regarded in the community. And to get this job, apparently the father had lied on his resume about his education. So what do you make of this?
Wait, he lied on his resume?
To get the job. So he was like he had a prominent job. He's a prominent figure in society.
It depends how big the lie is, because you're allowed to lie a little bit, I would say. So, but if you're like saying you graduated from college and you didn't, like big stuff like that, then it just says, I guess, I would be more inclined to believe someone that's willing to lie like that big to get a job is more willing to like do other crimes generally. Yeah,
because that's like to like have such a prominent deputy headmaster at a secondary school. It's a highly regarded in the community. It's like to hold a position like that, knowing in the back of your mind you are not at all qualified and you can get caught at any point and fired and like found out in the small community. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That to me, like, not to say like someone like that is like automatically someone who abuses their kids and wife, but that's...
It depends the context, because like since he's caring for kids, it's worse probably, but like if someone lies to get a job on like,
I lied in an interview before, but I was like, yeah, I know SQL, and then I learned on the job. But there's
I told you about that.
I know. Query. Oh my god! I used the word query.
No, but like, so if it's someone who lies a little bit to like get a job at like Lehman Brothers or something as an investment banker, they're like a go-getter, you know? They're like willing to cheat and steal. Like, you kind of want that for the job.
Yeah, this
but
is
when
not
it's for
that
kids,
job.
Yeah, exactly. When it's for kids' education. $5 donation from Love to Ride 14.
Thank you.
Thank you. Why was she painting the shed? That's a good question. 13-year-old painting the shed. That seems, I guess, not too inappropriate.
Okay, tell me your parents didn't make you do stuff like that. You grew up in like a strict Midwest.
Well, my dad made me start mowing the lawn when I was about 10.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah.
So like I did zero work as a child. But if you're a foster child, I don't know, you're in a strict household, that seems normal.
Yeah, I think like, you can't expect her to do a good job, though. Like, you have to be looking over her shoulder, fixing her mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's also a built-in excuse to abuse her if you do abuse her anyway.
And also, isn't there some, like, responsibility on the mother for endangering these kids and staying with this man who's abusive to her children for years and years?
Yeah, of course. But she's also, put in a position where she's scared of him. He beats her regularly. He's like, I'll take the kids away from you. I'll prove, you're crazy in court. Men are, like, people can put people in a place of, like, fear and submission.
I think the story wants you to believe it's the father. That's exactly how I usually think about these. I'm like, but it's not a story. It's like a true story. But if it was a fictional story, then I'd be like, yeah, they're making you think it's the father. Then it's someone else. BTK was a deacon. Oh, I didn't know that.
Who's BTK?
Like the BTK killer.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's like a big serial killer guy.
Oh. Okay. So a forensic examination of the scene and the father's clothes, specifically the fleece jacket he was wearing the day of the murder, revealed 158 microscopic blood spots. This was the key piece of evidence in his trial in April of '98 that was used against him. The police claimed that the blood spots could have only come from the father beating Billy Joe.
Yeah.
That
you
one,
get like certain blood spots.
and I read that, but they were microscopic.
Yeah.
So like if I'm really close and I'm battering someone, are the spots going to be microscopic or are they going to be like big blood spots?
You get some microscopic ones, like when you hit someone.
Yeah, but what about the other?
There should be bigger ones
they
too.
They only mentioned
You're right.
microscopic ones.
That's true. Do you remember that one show? What was it we were watching? Was it the Making a Murderer second season or something? Mm-hmm. Where they got the blood to spatter the way they wanted it to, and they were like all celebrating.
Yeah.
Was that what it was?
He would like jump on something,
yeah.
and it would just shoot up against the wall.
It was just like, this is what we're calling science in court now.
Yeah.
It's just like, was it Making a Murderer? Is that what it was?
No, remember. It was the owl case.
The owl case. Staircase. I forget the guy's name, but yeah.
Okay, so it was during the 3-minute window. Okay, so the police claim that he beat Billy Joe during that 3-minute window that the younger sister claims that he went in and had grabbed the money.
That seems, I don't know, that 3 minutes.
But this is also a 10-year-old's like account. It could have been 7, it could have been 0 minutes.
It's hard for me to imagine a father walking in, just like grabbing the thing in 3 minutes and then walking back to the car. Because he went back to the car, right? Mm-hmm. And went, that seems tough to believe.
So, there was no motive found. And was he an angry enough person to make 9 blows to her head? Like, if she made a mistake, like, if you are just abusing your kids, right? So, like, she has bruises on her wrists and forearms. So I'm thinking, like, he grabs her, he throws her, right? He grabs her and throws her. But, like, if you are so angry, you pick up a tent peg and you smash someone's head, you don't go 9 times and then that's it, right? Unless you have the intention to murder them. You go once and you're like, what the F did I do?
That's what maybe could have happened. Like,
but he did it 9 times and then he said, what the F did I do?
So people like this, they usually have, like, just not good control over their emotions. Their anger, their emotions. So, like, maybe he does something and it's just, his initial reaction, like, maybe before he was just grabbing her and, like, pulling her really hard quickly. But this time he hits her with a tent peg and she's like, oh no, I can't really, like, hit my kids with tent pegs. That's kind of hard to cover up. So then maybe he kills her.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay. So
but he could have also done it before he
left.
Yeah, he went to pick up the girl from music lessons. And then he came back in those 3 minutes, did something. Like, maybe he's thought of something. He's like, this needs to, for the cover up.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so I guess, I don't know why I made a note of this, but during in the trial, the jury was never told, so I guess the jury was never told about his domestic abuse, temper, or violence, and he was still found guilty.
Well, what's the reason for that? Maybe the judge deemed it, like, inadmissible, right?
I don't know. So that, or the police just never brought it to light, or, like, the prosecution never brought it up.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
of course they would bring it up.
I don't know why it wouldn't be admissible when the wife could testify to it.
Maybe the wife was just like kind of an unreliable witness.
Well, she wasn't a witness, but yeah. Like a...
Yeah.
speaking to his character. Okay, character witness. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so on July 2nd, 1998, he was convicted and sentenced to life. And the wife, at this point, fully believed that he was guilty. So my thoughts were, one, she definitely believes he did it, and she's happy he's behind bars. Or two, whether or not she believes he did it, she's just happy that he's out of their life.
Yeah. Wait, what did you say about what'd she do?
She fully believed he was guilty.
Yeah.
Are you listening?
No,
Are you present?
yeah. No, I mean, I think it's not like a super far jump from consistent abuse to murder. It's like a pretty far jump, but it's a much farther jump from like normal person to abuse.
Yeah.
Right? Or is it? I don't know. Now that I think about it, murder is a pretty far jump.
Regardless.
But it could also have been like an accidental.
It's not necessarily murder. It could have been like a heat of passion.
Yeah, crime of passion.
Manslaughter.
Yeah.
Okay. So not obviously, but it was rebutted that the blood spot was caused from him rushing over to her while she was lying on the patio, because he rushed to her side, remember? And he said that she was still alive. So if she was breathing out those blood particles because her lungs were full of blood, those could have been the spots on his sweater.
Okay.
And the youngest daughter, which I don't know if she would realize or not, I feel like she would, never noted that he maybe had a change of clothes, you know?
Yeah.
Because if he beat her, had a lot of blood, he would want to change his clothes before he went back to
I'm thinking he killed her before the pickup of the daughter. But, see, the thing is...
I think it was... I can't for sure say how, but I'm pretty sure it had to have been within that window that he was gone.
That's kind of what it seems like. So it seems like there's good reason to believe, unless we have like evidence that he changed his clothes somehow, because the blood spatter, it seems like it could have just been from her breath, like respirating or whatever.
That's what I just said, yeah.
I know. But how likely is it that some random person comes into the house and murders a girl and like in the backyard? It's not that, it never happens. Barely ever happens.
Yeah, I mean, this could be that one outlying case, but we'll talk about suspects here in a second. So, in 2002, the mom moved to Tasmania with her daughters, and they have never had contact with their father since. And then but moving backwards, in 1999, the father appealed for a retrial, which was immediately rejected. And then in 2001, the Criminal Case Review Commission took on his case to do some research and make sure any appeal was actually warranted. In 2004, his appeal was accepted and he was released on bail pending trial. During the retrial, the same reasoning from the original trial was used here, that the blood came from him rushing over to BJ when she was alive. Experts stated that the microscopic blood spots were most likely from a burst blood bubble in her mouth, and that all the blood spots were similar in size. So, assuming, they would be different sized if he was actually beating her with the head. Well, again, there was no motive, and then the jury deliberated for 36 hours. No verdict was ever agreed to. Third trial comes along.
Well, let me get in here for a minute. So, the mother moving with the kids to Tasmania?
Yeah.
I'm not like super comfortable with her just having the kids.
Why?
Because she's shown lack of caretaking ability by endangering them.
Yeah, but who would get the kids?
I guess I don't know. There's not really a better option. So.
Yeah, I mean, this happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like, right? Yeah.
It doesn't happen all the time. Dads don't murder kids that often.
No. I'm saying a lot of kids are under the responsibility of parents who should not be taking care of these kids. Okay. That's like a large portion of this country and the world, I would say. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because domestic abuse is very common.
Yeah.
Extremely. Unfortunately.
Well, should we get to some comments? Some people have some takes here.
Well, we didn't finish.
Someone's saying for the money. Is there money involved in this? Not really, right? A couple people talking money here.
Are they talking about donating?
I'm not sure. No, I don't think so. Do we know if the dad ever wanted a foster child?
I don't know.
Was he abusive to his own daughters too?
Yeah, I mean, according to the mom, he was abusive to everyone in the household.
Plastic up the nose is strange. It's so random.
Yeah, we're going to get to that.
Okay, we're going to get to the plastic.
So anyway, third trial, 2 of the daughters took the stand, and the youngest one stated that she was confused by her memories of the day and couldn't recall what she had said to the police. Similar evidence is put forward, and once again, the jury can't forward a majority verdict. So in 2006, he's released because he can't be found guilty. So in 1990, when did this happen? 97 to 2006. How many years is that? 9.
9 years.
So the 10-year-old is now 19. So yeah, she's not going to have solid memory of that day.
No memory.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a big deal to...
No, it's a very big deal.
It was, but like the 3 minutes when that was taking place, she didn't know her sister was dead, so she's not like,
Yeah,
remembering what's happening.
Trying to keep track. Okay, so that's it. Now we can move to our suspects. Any thoughts?
Well, someone says, no, Matt, victims are not the problem. Like the mother. The mother is a victim, but she's also victimizing her kids.
Well, you've never been, like, I guess, the victim of
course.
abuse.
No.
And so it's really hard to put yourself in the position where you want to have your kid's best interest in mind, but you're also fearful of this man who has full control over your life and your kid's life, and God knows what he could be saying.
Yeah, I guess
I'll
if you go to the
kill
police,
I'll kill the kids. I'll claim you're crazy and take the kids away from you.
Because if you go to the police, you're not going to, like, prove and get him, like, arrested.
And
probably.
if you do that, he'll harm you even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you do have a responsibility as a parent to take care of your kids.
Yeah, but
I'm on the fence. I think the mom's slightly at fault, but it's also obviously a tough spot to be in. What do I think about the case?
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said at the end, didn't you?
No, I said on with the suspects.
Oh, we got more suspects?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plastic nose comes up.
Okay, sweet.
Okay, so the suspects, Mr. B. So the youngest daughter said that the side door of the garden may have been open when they arrived, and this meant anyone from the street could have had access to the garden. And there was a neighbor on the same street named Brian who mentioned that Mr. B had rang his doorbell, and they had a very confusing conversation about Mr. B looking for somewhere to stay, but he had no money. Brian, the neighbor, told him to go into town, and about 2 days after this, Mr. B was arrested. In jail, police found Mr. B holding black plastic pieces up to his nose, and they found more in his underwear. He was let go because nothing was found against him.
He was holding black plastic pieces up to his nose, just like doing this?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It clearly from just like what Brian said, the neighbor, that maybe he was like just a vagrant or like, just...
I mean, it seems like sort of a desperation suspect because we're going off of the daughter's memory of the day, but the black plastic...
That was found by the neighbor.
That was found by the neighbor?
In her nose, tending to her.
And with the police also, like, agree the plastic was there?
Yeah, so it was mentioned in all, like, the articles, but it, like, never came up, I believe, in the trial or anything.
See, this might just be, like, an internet thing that kind of ran wild. Yeah. But if the plastic is true in both cases, obviously that's suspicious.
There could be some tie, yeah. The second thing to note is that the murder weapon was never tested for DNA, which is unfortunate. So
murder weapon never tested for DNA.
The intent to peg.
Yeah. Like just like touch DNA, I guess. Are you gonna find much?
Yeah, you'd see whose prints are on it. If it was not just the father's, it was anyone else's. Maybe they could have tested.
Should have, of course, tested it.
And then the M25 rapist. So I don't know anything about this man, but he was well known in England. He was a German convicted rapist around the M25 corridor, which is a motorway that circles London. And he would assault and rape women and girls, the youngest being a 10-year-old. He also wore a leather jacket, and recently BJ had complained about being stalked by a man wearing a leather jacket.
She complained about being stalked?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, that's serious then.
But she was not raped. So if this M25 did assault her and kill her, he would have also raped her if that was like his MO.
We have to look back if he has any like other murders that were non-rape murders.
And he would also put black trash bags over their heads. So
this is a little weird.
It's just a suspect, but I don't think it really holds any merit.
It seems like it's a dad still. Because in every situation, there's always like a serial killer in the area, or like, he was driving on the highway around town that time. But like, I think it's 99% of the time it's just the family.
So that's Billy Joe.
That's Billy Joe. What do you guys think? It seems like most of the dilemma is over the mother's accountability in this situation. Some people say victims are not. She's a victim. Some
Can
people
you pull
say.
this over here so I can see a little?
Yeah, I can pull it over now.
Thank you.
Some people agree with me. I would say more people do not agree with me. More people think the mother.
I feel like, not to be sexist, but the men are who agree with you.
No, I think one was a woman that agreed with me. Olga. The mother does have an issue. She put an innocent foster kid in harm's way. Yeah, that's valid. Like, you don't need to be bringing other kids into this.
Unless you're getting a paycheck for the foster kids.
Well, then you're still a bad person.
I know, but
Okay.
that's a
That's
reason.
a reason, sure,
to have
but like
more.
it's not a moral justification.
But it happens so frequently that I wouldn't be like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get this black pieces. Like, why would the guy be holding black pieces up to his
Because
nose?
he's a lunatic. I don't know.
And we're talking like just literally just little chips of plastic. Right?
I can't give you detail. I gave you what I know.
So many plot holes here. M25 is a major highway in London. Did the mom did not testify against her husband?
No, just whatever she told the police.
Was she asked to testify?
I don't know. I didn't dig deep into the trial. I usually don't.
Everyone kind of agree it's the dad, or are we thinking the plastic is a big key to the puzzle here? The same plastic that was up her nose? Yeah, it seems like we don't know that information. They need to investigate the types of plastic in the situations. Yeah.
I mean, they didn't even test the murder weapon, so I mean, clearly it was a bot. It usually is like some sort of a botch job, from my experience of just reading all these cases. Wouldn't you say?
The police work?
Yeah.
It's because they get so many cases and only like a small fraction of them end up actually being something like this. So like when you put it under a microscope, yeah, they could always do better.
Yeah, but isn't your whole theory like it's better to have 100 murderers going free than one in jail, innocent in jail?
No, that's not.
Yeah.
That's not the saying at all. 100 murderers, that means they're
but
guilty.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100. It's better off having 100 guilty set free than one innocent man in jail.
Yeah, so that's basically what I'm saying here. Like, they shouldn't just... and you're saying, like, there's so many cases, they can't do it great with every case, right?
Yeah.
But they should, because...
Well, look, they get the initial call in. Like, you know how many times per night the police get the call, like, my kid's missing, for example. And they're like, okay, like, when's the last time you saw him? They're probably in the neighborhood. And then,
this
like...
is like, my kid's dead on scene.
Yeah.
We have the murder weapon.
This is a little
Goddamn
different.
test it.
Yeah, of course. But a lot of the times, then like 1 in 1,000 is like the kid's actually been abducted, you know?
That's a lot. There's a lot of kids. 1 in 1,000 is a lot of kids being abducted, right?
Yeah. I'm just throwing numbers out there. I don't actually know.
You're a hypocrite. You're basically the guy from Catcher in the Rye.
If he killed her, this guy is the mind of a criminal right here. If he killed her, maybe he relives the crimes by smelling the plastic.
So he shoved a couple pieces up her nose, left one, and took the others? I don't know what you're saying.
No, that reminds him of the crimes. He has separate plastic that he smells.
Stop talking about
So yeah, how much money do you get for fostering kids? A lot of people are saying it's like
a check.
a money thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's different. Definitely different in the U.S. I feel like you probably get more money in the U.S. for like having more kids, fostering kids.
I'd rather have all those guilty people in jail. Well, you got to put yourself in the position of the innocent, and I guess the guilty. I want to see how much you get by fostering.
I think it's like over 1,000 per child.
Per what?
Child.
Per month?
Yeah.
Well, that barely even pays for the child then, right?
Not if you make not ends meet, and you're not using it on the child. If you're having like 5 or 6 necessarily.
How much do parents get paid monthly per child? So in Michigan, you get $480 to $600.
But this is not just fostering, is it?
Yeah, getting paid to be a foster parent. In Washington D.C., it's $1,000. In Georgia, it's $500 to $600. So that's per month. Yeah, that's per month. I don't know that that's really. I think you still have to love being a parent to do that.
Or you have to not care at all about the kids and just want the money. I think that was more of the situation here.
Do you?
Yeah.
You think it was like a not a good household? Because to me...
Yeah, if the father's abusing all 5 other people in the household, I think it's not a good household.
Yeah.
Why would you introduce more kids?
It doesn't really make sense. Because, I mean, the amount of money, like, that's just like picking up a couple extra hours a week, like 4 hours a week or something.
That's a lot of money to people, though, Matthew.
$500?
Yeah.
But you're also added expenses with the child. Like, you have to feed another child.
But these people aren't feeding them, right?
Yeah, they are.
They're like raw, they're not feeding them like good quality,
You're probably,
like 3 meals a day.
At best, you're probably making half the money.
If they eat cereal for one of the meals,
you have to buy them clothes.
You don't have to. Hand-me-downs. There's 4 girls. Why do you think like all foster parents are good parents?
Do they really? Is this a thing? People foster kids and hoard the money?
Yeah.
I have not heard this. That seems like
what
a terrible...
about people on the welfare system? They do the same thing.
What do you mean?
The more kids you have, the more money you make. You're not necessarily using that money for the benefit of the child.
So, it just doesn't seem like a good racket to get into. Like, why don't you set your mind towards improving as a person and
this is the kind of people
increasing your income potential?
I can't believe you didn't know about this.
No. I mean, I know that, like, everyone, theory of couch cushion, everyone on, like, there's someone doing everything on Earth. There's a person eating couch cushions.
But this is very common.
Yeah.
You can't compare it to couch cushions eating.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we did that one case before. What was it? It was like a person who adopted a bunch of kids and then she just like wasn't feeding them at all. And I forget what it was exactly. We did this one like a couple months ago. Moms stay with abusive men because they think they have no choice.
Yeah, you attract what you think you deserve. We talk about that.
Because they think they have no choice, yeah. Well, sometimes that's like the truth, right?
What?
Because when you get into like a really bad domestic situation, like most of the time the guy will just kill the person, right? If it's that heated.
Yeah, if there's that potential.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm so optimistic. My brother fostered a first, but then adopted. So fostering, what is that? You just take the kid for some period of time?
Until they find a final placement, yeah.
There must be really great foster parents out there, too.
There definitely are. Same with, like, fostering animals. I mean, I don't think you get money for that, though.
For fostering animals?
Yeah.
That's just for the love?
Yeah. We watched Married at First Sight where this girl fostered a bunch of dogs.
Somebody beat a child to death. How is fostering a kid just for money not make sense? It doesn't make financial sense to me. But, I mean, yeah, I guess it's a thing people do.
Yeah.
So to me, if I'm really...
I feel like you're living under a rock, the fact that you didn't know this.
I didn't know this. If I'm really, like, sizing up the situation, to me, I'm not even really thinking it makes financial sense unless you're getting over, like, $1,000 a month. If it's $500 to $600, that makes no sense.
That's a lot of money for a lot of people.
It's so much added responsibility, and you have to buy them stuff.
They're looking at the paycheck, baby. They're not looking at this child as a human being. They're like, this child is a paycheck. I have an extra room, or she can share... and she'll take care of the dog. Like,
I guess.
You're acting as if these people are...
Do they have a documentary on this? Like, fostering kids for money?
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Relationships, even abusive ones, are a reflection of our own self-worth.
Yeah. That is very true.
I don't think people like to hear that. But I would have to agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, you have to take a look at your own relationship. If you're happy, I think you could come to terms with that. If you're in an abusive relationship, I feel like it would be hard to admit that.
So I was talking with Mega about this book yesterday, and how there's like certain men that are like, he's talking about these men that are really confident and how he hates them, and they're just like very confident. And like, there's not really the same with women. I feel like the spectrum of confidence is much wider with men. You have like the men who have no self-confidence, and I guess some women have no self-confidence.
A large portion, yeah.
But you don't have many of the women that are just like crazy,
like super
confident, like they're just awesome. Like they ask you to do them. This is an example from the book. They ask you to do them a favor, and they think they're doing you a favor by offering you to do them a favor. They're just like, that type of guy.
I don't understand. Like that doesn't make sense to me. Like I've never even like met.
He's like,
someone...
hey buddy, go get me a pack of cigarettes from the corner store. And he like thinks he's making your day by letting you do that for him.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Women don't do things like that.
Everyone's saying Mega's right. Mega's always right.
I mean, it's not something I want to be right about. I feel like I have maybe a little more. I've been around the block maybe a little bit more than Matt has, I would say, in my lifetime.
It's a whole mentality, trying to bring in as much money without actually working.
Yeah.
Could be.
No, that's the sad truth, Matthew. How do you not?
Some people
You
do
are
have.
living in unicorn world.
Some people have that perspective for sure, but the sad thing is, like, if you put that much effort towards bettering yourself and improving your own ability to generate income, you'd be making so much more money than you are scamming like the government.
Yeah, but that's way past their capabilities. Like they would
Well,
never.
it takes a mental shift, and a lot of it's obviously like the situation you're growing up
Yeah,
in. Like,
and people don't read 70 self-help books. You've come to
that's
a point.
true. You don't need 70 though. You need like 2 or 3. Catcher in the Rye is my favorite book. $5 donation from
Rhiannon.
Rhiannon.
Thank you,
that's
Rhiannon.
cool. I read it once. I read it once a year. Have since I was 13 and I'm 34.
Ooh.
It is great. You can read it. It took me 6 hours to read. I track my reading, so.
There's an HBO doc called Foster.
Oh, sweet.
Thank you.
It's nice that you see the good in people. But it's the effort they are avoiding. But there is some effort goes into fostering and stuff, right?
Yeah, that is one thing that I learned early on with, I feel like the majority of my, no, just mostly Matt and like maybe one of my other friends, Kelsey, they both see the good in people.
You think I do?
Yeah, and I always
Not
tell
always.
you how naive you are, or I used to. I was like, I personally think majority people are innately more bad than they are good. Like,
See,
like our thought process isn't always like to help others out. It's more self-interest. It's self-indulgent, right? Like we look out for ourselves
Yeah.
innately as humans.
well, no, everything's selfish. I agree with that.
I think it took you a while to get there, though.
No, I agree with that. Like this donating to charity thing, that's selfish. See, you get everything's selfish, everything's your fault. I'm an absolutist in those two things. Like even the donating to charity, like people want to show you that they're donating to charity. It makes them feel good about themselves. Getting gifts for people for Christmas, it's like a selfish thing. Everything's selfish.
Oh, it's super selfish.
The
I
most-
love giving gifts.
The most selfless seeming things are oftentimes the most selfish. LOL, humble brag, Matt. What, the amount of time it took me to read the book?
How long did you say?
6 hours. I'm a slow reader, though. I was just giving you guys for, like, reference.
He
It's not
keeps
that-
saying he's a slow reader, but like we read side by side, and he's like moving way quicker than I am.
There was a couple a few years ago who got caught keeping their foster children in chicken cages. Oh, my gosh. Sadly, there are many people who are in it just for the check.
Oh my god, that sickens me. Ay, ay, ay.
I don't even know, like, why. Like, of course you're going to get caught doing that at some point, right?
No. How many people right now are like locked in basements or in closets or just
Like, held against their will?
yeah, or like kids who are just like, mistreated like that.
Yeah.
So many in this world.
Someone says any updates on Britney Spears? If you guys weren't here,
Oh, we follow her avidly now on Instagram, and I
Yeah.
love looking at her pictures.
so the whole conspiracy with
She has a
Britney
boyfriend.
Spears, she does?
Yeah.
The whole conspiracy with Britney Spears is that like her entire life is controlled not by her but by others, and
Look at these videos.
she's sort of being like held
Do
captive.
the other one.
The other one?
This one. Like, what is she wearing?
I don't know. She's getting a photo shoot.
Yeah, I'd love to see those photos.
What's
I just
this?
think her makeup's like sort of kooky looking.
Alice in Wonderland's such a cool story too. I guess we're winding down here. You guys got anything else? And what you time your reading to let us know how. Yeah, I time my reading just because I use this app. It's called Bookly, just to stay accountable and stuff.
Is that Miley up there?
Yeah,
What is she
I
doing?
don't know. She gets so.
She's like another human being in our house doing stuff. She's like cooking up eggs and stuff in the night.
Someone says, "What is this stream about?" I'm new. We just on Fridays For an hour, we tell true crime stories and we chat and stuff.
Yeah.
Not keto related at all.
But if you ask keto questions, we can definitely hit on those. But yeah, we just like chat about the case. We just finished up. We're usually go about an hour. All right. It seems like we're winding down. What are you? Yeah. Is everyone just like at home doing nothing?
Yeah. What's going on? What's your prognosis for the next couple weeks here?
I guess no one's gonna be like online dating or going out to bars and clubs.
Because if we're looking at the progress here, we're still rapidly increasing. Yeah, look at that, dang. So we're like in exponential growth. I don't know how closely you guys follow this or if you just get kind of annoyed of talking about it constantly, but you can see like we're pretty clearly in the exponential growth phase here. And there's like a 3 to 7 day lag effect on when you catch the virus to when you show symptoms.
How much?
3 to 7, like around there.
Oh, wow.
And we've been like somewhat quarantining for, what would you guys say, like probably 5 days at least now? So you would think in the next like 2 to 3 days you would see some tapering off of this curve. But this is also the total cases. So
in the country?
Yeah, but total cases obviously have the limiting factor of how many people we're testing. So I actually think it's better if you look at the total deaths because that's a much more objective measure. Because total cases could be much higher than we're actually, tracking here. But deaths, I think we have like a pretty accurate count. So you would expect, hopefully, in the next couple days to taper off a little. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I think we're just gonna. It's still gonna continue to get worse and like.
Yeah, not everyone is quarantining though. Yeah, even though not everyone is.
A large majority, I would say, right?
Yeah, like any amount should make a difference in the numbers. So like a good portion of people are. You got enough food to last 2 weeks? Yeah.
We sure do.
Spring break on South Beach was crazy this past week.
Really? Like people were out and stuff?
New York called for 100% non-essential people stay at home.
Non-essential people. But they can't like enforce it, right?
Some places are enforcing it, which I don't know how I feel about that.
Like the Bay Area, right?
Like Spain and Italy.
Well, no. In the U.S., I'm talking strictly.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's enforced it in the U.S. like by force yet.
They can't like mandate it.
We're pretty adverse to doing that here in the U.S.
Because of freedom and all.
Because of freedom, yeah. So,
But what the places they are confining people, what is the rate looking like?
Well, that's why, because Italy's getting so out of control. And they don't have like.
Wait, that was in the past day?
Yeah.
Oh dang.
Italy's in an exponential growth, and they don't have like the medical system's overwhelmed, so you can see the death rate. They have like a 10% death rate.
Wow.
Because the true death rate people think is like maybe around 1%. You can see China's is like.
Yeah.
Like 4. US's should be a lot better.
What does India have? My dad said India has like the least amount of cases.
Which is odd, I guess, right? I guess they don't do a lot of...
They're not doing proper testing is what's happening, I'm sure. Right?
Maybe, but they also don't travel internationally as much, I guess. Like, that's the thing with U.S., everyone travels constantly. The more affluent a country is, the more susceptible.
I would just go all the way down, because it goes in order.
Well, I searched for India.
Right there, 249.
Oh. Okay. Do you have any friends visiting the UK? No.
Why?
We need to buckle down here in the U.S. Italy, old people, 23%. That's another thing, yeah.
Martial law, maybe? You think it'll get to that?
Italy has a lot more old people. Martial law? What is even... That's like... Soldiers can quarter in your house and stuff?
No.
What is martial law?
Yeah, I think that's a part of it. But, like, yeah, you can't leave and there's, like, military in the streets.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it exists.
I don't think it exists here.
No, it does exist in the U.S.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen, but it exists.
PA giving fines if non-essential businesses are open. New York had military touchdown today, so it looks like they're gonna get serious.
Wow.
Yeah, so in Georgia, for the first, like, just until the last few days, we only had 50 tests per day being run. And we were getting like 30 new cases a day. So that, but they were obviously testing people they thought had it too. But now I think the capability is way up, so we should be getting a lot more.
National Guard is setting up.
Also, are you guys getting these like fake spam text messages about, what was the one about?
That first one
The
was...
Stafford Act and all this stuff?
Yeah, what was that first one about?
The first one?
Oh, the 24 to 48 hours, 72 hours.
I don't know what to believe because everyone says they have like these inside connections to the government on what's happening.
Lots of military planes in New Orleans. Stafford Act might be enacted. Google it.
Yeah, I Googled it. It's a spam text that got sent out to a bunch of people.
You Google it again.
Okay. If you Google Stafford Act, the first thing that comes up is like it's a spam.
No.
Yeah, so there is an actual Stafford Act.
Yeah.
But like when you look, it's like, Miami, stop sharing this bogus post about the Stafford Act in every WhatsApp chat. Yeah, I think it might be a little while, actually, like...
What movies do you guys have lined up to watch? So we watched Ford vs. Ferrari earlier this week. Really good. We started Dark Waters today, but Matt fell asleep while we were watching, and I watched about half of it, and it's super good. So
I was tired from all the yard work.
It's just constant complaints. So I plan on finishing that tomorrow. I highly recommend it already. Mark Ruffalo.
What are you saying is fake news? Don't believe what?
The Stafford Act.
The Stafford Act? Yeah. I want to watch 1917.
Yeah.
That looks good. If you guys haven't seen, I guess on Amazon Prime there's Joker was good, pretty good. Parasite was pretty good.
Parasite, yeah. Parasite won Best Film of the Year.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was really good.
And we've been just watching Married at First Sight. Embarrassing, but I love it.
Yeah. A Month Max. Yeah. It seems like what is relatively likely now is like a 30-day, some kind of 30-day shutdown.
But not enforced? You're thinking not mandatory?
I don't know. Like, what do you mean by enforced? Like, I don't think there's going to be
Mandated.
military, like, it's not going to be the British in 1776 and it's going to be walking soldiers through the streets. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think, like, yeah, it'll be some kind of mandate of, like, stay home unless you need groceries and stuff.
Yeah. Unless groceries are closed.
I did yard work today, too. Yard work is really fun because I don't do much physical other than just working out.
And it also gives you a built-in excuse to do nothing and talk about it all the time.
That's true. But like just the act of like methodically doing the same thing over and over with something like listening to something, it's really fun.
How many times have I gotten on here and been like, well, I was up last night at 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. nursing my son.
I appreciate
putting
it.
him back to sleep. Like, I've never done that.
He's been sleeping through the night now.
No, he hasn't.
Till 3 a.m.
The past 3 nights. Jinx. You always jinx it.
Someone's starting a Harry Potter movie series binge fest?
That sounds like a snooze fest.
Oh, let's talk fantasy stuff. So Harry Potter, you haven't watched Harry Potter, right?
Speaking of waking up in the middle of the night.
What?
I mean, I like to go to bed at a decent hour.
Oh,
You know that.
so we should cut it soon?
Soon, yeah. If you have anything of value to add, we
Well, I
can
do
talk.
have one thing of value, and it is this.
He's such a cutie.
It's not his best picture, actually, is it?
It's one of them. Look at his hair floating around. He has so much more hair now.
Yeah. I guess I totally get now, like, having a child when
It's the best
parents
thing
just
ever.
want to talk about their kids all day. I don't know, the sense of pride you take in your kid is kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm very proud of how cute he is. He would have been, yeah, he's just perfect. He looks nothing like me, though. He's so white.
Yeah.
I can't get over. Sometimes I look at him and I'm like, Are you even mine?
It's funny because Mega's dad was born in India and he has a white grandchild, and it's like the American dream. That's what her brother always says.
It is the dream.
Dad really did the American dream. Harry Potter, the books, I guess everyone says books are better than movies, but especially for Harry Potter. Harry Potter, they just transport you. I guess we should call it, guys. I think we got about maybe like $60 or so.
Oh, but it'll show, right?
Yeah, it'll show at the end. We'll match the donation. So about 100 plus go into virus relief fund.
Thank you guys so much for being here, for just joining us on Friday night. I would say, like, you guys should be out doing your thing, having fun, but you can't really go anywhere, so.
Everyone says Theo's hairline. He does have like a really distinct hairline on one side.
You can't see it in this picture
yeah,
that
you
well.
can't see it as good in that
But yeah,
picture.
it's like golden.
He's so funny too.
And potentially, or the plan is for next week for us to do some live streams.
Oh yeah. Who do you guys want on a live stream?
Don't say like Kobe Bryant.
Yeah. Well, R.I.P.
Oh, I was thinking LeBron James when I said Kobe Bryant. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. But we're talking like keto chats, like health and nutrition topics, like live podcasts. So any people you want us to try getting, let us know.
Within our means.
Harry Potter is overrated. How old are you? I think that's crucial. If you are 30 or under and you have that opinion, I don't know.
I agree.
You agree it's overrated? I get it if it started coming out when you were like mid-20s. It could be overrated to you. My first Murder, She Ate. Loved it.
Yay! Thank you for being here, Deidre.
All right. I guess we'll call it, guys. We'll be back. We got videos coming 3 times a week. We'll be back next Friday.
Yeah, we'll see if Matt has a case or wants to cancel.
I will. I'll come up with a good one for next Friday.
Okay.
Dr. Berg? Yeah, Dr. Berg could be good.
Cooking live stream.
Yeah. We just got this basement setup going now, but we can try doing a cooking one too.
That would be fun. Some bacon. Bacon really relaxes me.
Baking?
Bacon.
Bacon? Like,
Bacon.
Baking.
Baking. Dr. Ronald Patrick is out of our wheelhouse, but thank you for thinking
we could get it. No, I think we could.
Maybe. Okay.
All right, guys. See ya.